and welcome to the comprehensive news at 5 p.m. on Operanews TV. I am Mary Agiobo. The federal government has announced plans to end Nigeria's dependence on fish importation by implementing broad reforms in the aquaculture and fisheries sector. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, disclosed the initiative during a strategic session with fisheries cooperative groups in Abuja. According to a statement by his media advisor, Dr. Bolaji Akinyola, the reforms aim to enhance local production and position the sector as a key contributor to food security, job creation, and export earnings. Key stakeholders present included representatives of the Fisheries Cooperative Federation of Nigeria, Tilapia Aquaculture Developers Association of Nigeria, Catfish Farmers Association of Nigeria, and Women in Fish Farming and Aquaculture. Meanwhile, the minister also outlined plans to empower women and youth through start-up grants and support packages, emphasizing the critical role of young people in expanding domestic production and tackling unemployment. Moving on, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has urged African nations to assume control of their natural resources by leading pricing and trade frameworks in the energy sector. Posting on his X handle, the president said the continent must shift from being a price taker to a market maker. His comments come ahead of the Global Commodity Insights Conference on West African refined fuel markets taking place in Abuja. The event is organized by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in collaboration with S&P Global Insights and features participation from key energy players across the continent. President Tinubu described the forum as a vital platform for building up transparent Africa-led commodities markets and called for greater regulatory alignment, transparency, and collaboration to drive sustainable growth. The North Central All Progressives Congress Forum has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and party leadership to return the national chairmanship to the region. This demand comes ahead of the APC National Executive Committee meeting scheduled for July 24th. In a statement signed by Forum Chairman Saleh Zazaga, the group cited zoning principles and the region's historical loyalty to the party as the basis for its appeal. The group stressed that reinstating the chairmanship would promote fairness and strengthen internal cohesion. They urged the leadership to honor past commitments and correct what it described as a political imbalance within the party's structure. Former Secretary to the Bauchi State Government and 2023 PDP governorship candidate Ibrahim Kashim has officially resigned from the People's Democratic Party. In a letter made public, Kashim expressed gratitude for the opportunity to serve and for the trust placed in him during the 2023 elections. He has stepped down last year in favor of Governor Bala Mohammed, but now says he seeks new avenues to serve the state. Political observers suggest his exit signals a likely defection ahead of the 2027 governorship race, although his next political move remains unconfirmed. In another development, the National Association of Polytechnic Students has commended the Rector of Federal Polytechnic, Ekowe, Dr. Agbabiaka Adegoke Lukman, for what it described as transformational leadership. In a statement signed by its Senate President, Comrade Oyewumi Festus Ayomide, the students' body praised the institution's strides in infrastructure and academic development. Key achievements include a new digital library, CBT center, renovated clinic, and thriving agricultural projects. Over 174 million naira was also invested in staff and academic training through TET Fund. However, NAPS expressed concern over the ongoing strike by the NASU chapter, despite directives from its national leadership. Furthermore, called on the Ministries of Labor and Education, as well as the National Assembly, to intervene urgently and safeguard students' welfare. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll receive stories from the foreign scene, the world of business, and the world of sports. Please stay tuned.
KG5F Security Services. We are dependable, reliable, proficient, and gallant always. KG5F Security Services, officially licensed by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Our services include general office security, personal security, asset protection, protocol services, physical security, aviation security, loss prevention, escort protection, security patrols, and access control. We are available 24/7. KG5F Security Services also provide installation of security gadgets such as CCTV camera, alarms, special communication equipment, and so on. Gallant security personnel are needed nationwide with attractive working benefits. Contact KG5F Head Office at 45 Prince Adeyemi Street off Governors Road, Ikotun, Lagos, or our branch office 25 Yaya Baton Road, adjacent Nationwide Petrol Station, Ogba, Lagos. For inquiries, call KG5F Security Services to serve and protect.
You're still watching the news at 5 p.m. on Operanews TV. From the foreign scene. In Gaza, at least 21 children have died from starvation and malnutrition within the last 72 hours amid worsening humanitarian conditions triggered by ongoing Israeli military operations. The enclave, already facing severe shortages of food, electricity, and medical aid, has seen over 2.4 million people displaced, with many living in overcrowded shelters. The latest fatalities follow renewed Israeli airstrikes that claimed an additional 15 lives, according to Gaza's Civil Defense Agency. The World Health Organization has also raised alarm over repeated attacks on health facilities, warning that the humanitarian crisis is spiraling beyond control. Authorities in several French cities have introduced nighttime curfews for minors in response to rising youth violence linked to drug trafficking. The city of Nimes is the latest to enforce a 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew following the discovery of a partially burned body of a 19-year-old. Officials said the curfews aim to prevent young people, including children as young as 12, from being exploited by criminal gangs. Other cities enforcing similar measures include Béziers and Limoges, where youth police clashes have intensified. The Interior Ministry reports that over 110 people have been killed and more than 300 injured in drug-related violence in France so far in 2024. From the world of business. The Port Terminal Multi-Services Limited Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has recorded a 34% revenue growth in the first half of 2025, generating 204.7 billion naira compared to 152.6 billion naira during the same period last year. Public Relations Officer SC Abdullahi Abubakar attributed the performance to improved compliance by stakeholders and introduction of the indigenous digital platform B Odogu. Area Controller Comptroller Tenny Daniel said the platform has generated 301.8 billion naira in revenue since its deployment in November 2024. He reaffirmed the command's commitment to efficient cargo handling, noting that 52 vessels and over 13,000 containers were processed in the review period. Moving on, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has declared a profit after tax of 905 billion naira for June 2025, slightly down from 1.054 trillion naira in May. According to its monthly report summary, the company remitted 6.96 trillion naira to the Federation account between January and May. Daily crude oil and condensate production surged to 1.68 million barrels per day, the highest recorded this year. The NNPC also reported major progress on the AKK and OB3 gas pipelines, now at 83% and 96% completion, respectively. It also highlighted improved petrol distribution and the conclusion of a nationwide financial literacy program for over 67,000 youth corps members. Finally, from the world of sports. Qatar has formally submitted its bid to host the 2036 Olympic and Paralympic Games, aiming to build on its growing global sports profile. Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani described the bid as a strategic step following the successful hosting of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. If selected, Qatar will become the first country in the Middle East and North Africa to host the Olympic Games. The International Olympic Committee is set to begin evaluating bids with a preference for regions like Asia and Africa under the Games rotation policy. The 2036 hosts will be chosen under the leadership of the new IOC president, Ketsi Coventry. Spanish football club Real Sociedad has excluded Nigerian striker Umar Sadiq from his pre-season tour of Japan, fueling speculation about his future at the club. Sadiq, who joined from Almeria in 2022 for €20 million, has struggled with injuries and limited appearances. Club sources indicate that new manager Sergio Francisco does not see the forward in his tactical plans. Sadiq, who was loaned to Valencia last season and scored 6 goals in 19 matches, is reportedly attracting interest from other clubs. However, with 2 years remaining on his contract, Sociedad is said to be considering potential transfer options. And that wraps up the news of 5 p.m. on Operanews TV. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us. And please subscribe to all our social media platforms. Do have a swell evening. I am Mary Agilbo.